كانوا قليلا من الليل ما يهجعون.
Having said this, my brothers and sisters, I thank you for this opportunity which you have given me to talk to you. And what I would like to talk about today is something which I find important for me, for my friends, for my brothers and for my sisters, and you should find it important for yourself. The topic which I have chosen for you is patience. As-Sabr. The word As-Sabr, my dear brothers and sisters, in Arabic, it's named after a thorny tree. I don't know if you've ever eaten it before. It's a thorny tree, and its fruits, you can't just really peel off the peel very easily. You have to first of all brush off. Prickle pear, Jazakallah khair. And Yunus guessed it. It's a prickle pear, in Arabic as-sabr. And you'd have to brush off all the prickles off the skin before you can peel it. And if you don't do it well, you're going to get a lot of prickles in your fingers, on your face, on your mouth, on your nose, on your ears, even on your chest here, and your neck. That's how bad it is. And then if you touch someone else, they also get prickles on their fingers, because it's so, the prickles are so small and they're so transparent, you can't see them, very tiny. And there are millions of them, millions on one. The word sabr in Arabic, which means patience in English, comes from that fruit. Yes. So as-sabr is what we Muslims in this life, mu'mineen, have to reach. You have to be as strong as that fruit. As if you are prickled with a million prickles. You have to be strong and withstand it. Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu, when he looked at his life and the way they lived in those days, they lived in hardship. They struggled to travel, they struggled to live, they struggled to eat and clothe themselves. It was a very hard life compared to here, brothers and sisters. And he used to say, وَجَدْنَا خَيْرَ عَيْشِنَا بِالصَّبْرِ. The way we began to enjoy our life, even though it was so hard and so miserable at some stage, the only way we were able to enjoy all our life was with patience. It's as though he's telling us, if you want to live a enjoyable life, a life full of joy with you and your family and your children and yourself, and you don't want to be miserable in life, be patient. As-sabr. And patience means to control yourself against all the irrational actions and words and all the haram actions and words. And the time which a person should be patient in order for patience to bring them joy in life is when it is actually at the time when the musibah, the calamity, the hardship hits you. Right at that time. If you don't exercise patience right there, it's not going to work for you in your life. There's no use being patient afterwards. Because time heals everything, brothers and sisters. It's for everyone. But if you really want to enjoy it and you want to have proper patience and be rewarded from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and see the fruits of your rewards on the day of judgment, then you have to be patient when the musibah comes down on you. The musibah, the calamity, when you're stricken with that hardship. When it comes down. Yani the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to illustrate more, he was visiting the graves in Quba. And then he heard the cry and weeping of an old woman. She was weeping too much and crying, and she was breathing heavily and can't control herself, to the point where she began to say words that are irrational and also against Islam. Her son was dead and she was visiting his grave, and she began to call out to him, "Oh son, what are you doing now? Come to me, I want to see you. Oh, they've still got a lock of your hair." And she started talking to her son as if he's still alive. Why did Allah take you from me? How could He do this to me? And words like that. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wanted to calm her down and wanted to teach her a lesson of patience. But without knowing him, she didn't know him. He approached her with all kindness and softness and said to her, O servant of Allah, اصبري واحتسبي أجرك عند الله. Be patient and think about the rewards that you're going to get with Allah, and you will meet your son, inshallah, if you are patient enough and if he goes to heaven, and you do. Because she wasn't patient enough, she looked at him and said to him, what do you know, O man, what musibah I'm in, what feeling I'm in? Go away from me. So the Prophet ﷺ went quiet and left. Upon this, another man saw this and said to her, do you know who that man was? She said, no. He said to her, that was Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So she wiped her tears away and forgot about her grave and went to her son's grave, and she raced after the Prophet ﷺ. Said to him, Ya Rasulullah, forgive me, I didn't know that it was you. He turned to her and said to her what he wanted to say. إنما الصبر عند المصيبة أو عند وقوع المصيبة أو كما قال. He said, true patience is when the calamity befalls you. At that point. That's when, if you want to be a patient person, that is a patient person. Whatever the reason is. And oh, how impatient the ummah of Muhammad ﷺ is today. Any tiny thing will make us tick off. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he became angry, he'd go silent. How many of us, when we are angry, we go silent? And we lose it because we are impatient people. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, الصبر من الإيمان كالرأس من الجسد. Sabr to Iman. How is Sabr to Iman? If you want to compare them, he said, As-Sabr with Iman is like the head to the body. يُصِبْ مِنْهُمْ. Ya Allah, this is something hard for the disbelievers to understand, but a mu'min understands it. It is, if Allah wants to do good to somebody, if you want to know if Allah is doing good to you, He afflicts him with trials. He afflicts him with trials. And there are hundreds of thousands of different trials a person can be afflicted with, from the tiniest to the biggest. A person may frown at your face. That's a trial. Frowning. Something less than that? The parent, when their son or daughter go, the parent gets rewarded, you get sinned. But the parent is afflicted. Something as small as that. Because that's a trial. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves you, He afflicts you with a trial. Because you know why? As the Prophet ﷺ explains, because a mu'min, when he is afflicted with trial, what does he do? What does he do, brothers? Huh? He's patient. What does he do but? In action. Okay, he's patient, so what does he do with that patience? Huh?
Express it?
Yes, he expresses it. How? That's what I want. He makes praise, he says Alhamdulillah. Yes, he says Alhamdulillah. What else does he do? He says Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. To Allah we belong. To Him we'll return. So, what else? La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. No power or might except in Allah. What else does it do?
He's angry.
He says A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. He makes dua. He becomes happy after.